Remember that student from the first video whose write-up I used as the example? You would think that a student as accomplished as her would fare well during an interview, but the truth is that just like any other student, she was also really awkward and tense when answering questions. When we had our first mock interview, every question I asked, she was only able to give a one-word answer or just say a few words without elaborating. It was completely unlike her usual bubbly and energetic self. So if you are nervous for an interview, then I want to reassure you and let you know that it is totally normal, because at this age, most of you will not have the experience to be comfortable during one yet. Therefore, the best way to tackle this nervousness is by practicing. Find a teacher or a trusted adult who has experience with job interviews to help you practice. My student was able to loosen up by our 4th or 5th round, and that allowed her to communicate her abilities a lot better during the actual interview. However, if you can't find someone experienced to help you, then next week I will share a detailed step-by-step guide on how you can go about practicing interviews with a friend. For today's video, I am going to talk about the fundamentals that you should know for an interview, along with specific interview skills that you can practice. We begin with the fundamentals, which are basic things that people expect us to know even without teaching us. First, we have punctuality. Be early. You don't want to be in a rush and arrive there all flustered. Figure out how to get to the school in advance so that you have one less thing to worry about. You can even go so far as to travel the route once before the day itself. I did that when I got my first job, and it really helped a lot. Next is your attire. Unless it is stated otherwise in instructions, just wear your school uniform with your tie. Make sure it is clean and neatly pressed. And the trick to looking smart with a tie is that the tip of your tie should end at the very top of your pants or your skirt's waistband. If it's longer than that, it will look sloppy. If it's shorter, it will look disproportionate. The last fundamental we have is language. Be formal, be polite. The thing about being Singaporean is that most of us have two modes that we can switch between. First is our comfortable day-to-day Singlish mode, and the second is our presentation mode where we speak without Singlish. Go into your presentation mode during your interview, leave out all of your Singlish and your slangs. Now let's move on to the interview skills that you can practice. First, try your best to stay calm. Like I said at the start, you are going to be nervous and you're going to feel jittery. It is normal. Accept that. Tell yourself, I feel nervous and it is okay, but now I am going to focus on the interview. So what you are doing is that you acknowledge how you feel first, and then you redirect yourself to the task in front of you. From my experience, this is a lot better than trying to fight your nervousness, because I don't know about you, but I have never been successful when I tried to make myself just magically stop being nervous. However, it is a lot easier for me to forget about it when I distract myself. Next, have the courage to answer questions. When I conduct group interviews in the past and I ask questions, the students who answers first is usually also one of the shortlisted candidates in the end. Now, I'm not saying that because the student answered first, therefore I will shortlist him. What I am saying is that the students who answer first without sitting awkwardly and waiting for someone else to go first are usually students who are confident in themselves. And that is a trait that interviewers want to see. So, if you are in a group interview and the question is posed to the group, don't hesitate to just raise your hand and answer it, even if it means going first. And when you answer a question, remember to elaborate your answers. Avoid giving a single word answer. Elaborate without the interviewer asking you to. Give more details and share more. Just take care not to go out of point and start rambling. It is completely fine to sound excited about what you're talking about. It's very normal, especially when you're talking about something that you're passionate about, and that's something that interviewers will definitely take note of. But make sure you don't be cocky or desperate. What would be bad is if you sounded arrogant or even start to beg. Even if you know that you are good or that you have a very strong portfolio, just be confident and stop there. Likewise, if you have nothing, don't start begging and be desperate as well. It is not going to help. Just present what you have and do your best. Lastly, we have body language. Sit up straight, hands on your lap in a relaxed manner, look at whoever is speaking because it's usually a group interview. When it's your turn to speak, look at the interviewers, but don't be afraid to look at the other students as well, because essentially, you are answering questions and presenting it to the group. Do not take out your phone to check your social media. Avoid crossing your arms or legs. I say avoid because sometimes during a discussion, we will naturally cross our arms or legs when we disagree with something, and that's alright. But if you're just nervous or when you're speaking to the interviewer, do not cross your arms and legs. Crossing your arms and legs is what we call close body language. It gives off an unwelcoming vibe. During an interview, you want to come across as open, friendly, and welcoming. And one last thing, Do not roll your eyes at anyone. You can frown, you can disagree politely, but never roll your eyes at anyone. It will come across as really rude and unprofessional. Alright, so those are the 5 interview skills that you can practice. Hopefully you'll be able to find a teacher or a trusted adult to help you as well. If not, then come back next week when I will share a step-by-step guide on how you can practice with a friend. That video will also include some interview questions for you to practice with. And that's all for this video. My name is Magnum. I hope to see you again next week. And as always, remember that I am proud of you for even just trying. Bye bye!